This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming. What's going on, everybody? This is VinylicPuma, and today we are going to go over my personal ultimate build skill tree setup for Endgame on Wilhelm the Enforcer for Borderlands the pre-sequel. Now, I'm going to go over the skills as I'm putting them in the tree, and I'm going to kind of explain why I made some choices and why I didn't pick other certain skills. But anyway, let's go ahead and go on with this. So I think when I start playing Wilhelm, what I would do, obviously you're just going to get this skill. Now, Wilhelm, in my opinion, is basically the perfect parallel to Axton from Borderlands 2, minus the grenade damage bonus mechanic. Now, really, the focus here is that you're going to be using your turrets, or I'm sorry, your drones here, to mainly increase your damage while they're out. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to go with this following skill set that I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Dreadnought here, and we're going to get auxiliary tanks, fortify, and termination protocols. Now, auxiliary tank, we want this because it's going to increase the duration of Wolf and Saint and the cooldown rate of Wolf and Saint. That 15%, it's not much, but it is definitely going to help. And considering that the cooldown is a base 42 seconds, it's pretty lengthy. Plus, with that extra 10 seconds, he's going to be out for 45. They're both going to be out for 45 seconds, and it'll probably be somewhere around 30. I'm going to say 39 seconds for a cooldown. So your cooldown will be 3 seconds shorter. Then I'm going to go ahead and go with Fortify. The main reason I'm doing that is just for that gun damage bonus. Otherwise, I don't really have a reason of going into the skill. Now, I didn't pick Energize because this is mainly an occasional chance to restore 8% of your shields per level, it looks like. And really, it just says here it's going to regenerate your health. As I mentioned in my Athena build, I'm not really concerned with regenerating health. If you're using a Moxie weapon, it will basically beat that. Heat sinks is actually a skill that I would want to get for that shield recharge rate and shield recharge delay. That'll be really useful with amp shields, but I didn't pick that here. Now, termination protocols basically substitutes your fight for your life, the normal fight for your life mechanic, and allows you to walk around firing your guns. And then, of course, it says they're constantly shock enemies. If you die, you basically release a nuclear explosion and it kills everybody anyway. So that's pretty cool. That's basically like Krieg's, I believe it's pull the pin skill. It was in his middle tree here. Can't remember because I didn't really play Krieg a lot, but anyway. Now, for Cyber Commando, I'm going to do the following. I'll go ahead and put the points here. Okay, so with all those points in, I'm going to explain why I didn't go with laser focus and first to fight. Mainly, laser focus, I don't want to be dependent primarily on laser weapons. I feel like if you're going to be using a variety of weapons, you don't really need a skill like this. Now, that said, there's probably going to be a class mod for Wilhelm that boosts laser focus, and at that time you may want to use this, spec into this skill. Also, Vengeance Cannon basically allows you to shoot these laser blasts. It might get a bonus where I'm laser focus. So if it does, you're going to want to go from man and machine to laser focus. If not, I would just stick with man and machine. First to fight, in my opinion, honestly seems like a glorified and much weaker amp shield. Basically what this does is it increases your gun damage, but this bonus is lost 5 seconds after you deal damage and then is regained after 5 seconds of you not dealing or taking damage. Very much like Well, actually, it's not even quite like a B shield. Or a amp shield in general. It's sort of like that because the initial shot does a lot of damage, but really, I'll show you all here. It only goes up to 40, which, I mean, that is great if that's permanently passive, but it's not here, so I would recommend you avoid that. I went with Power Fist mainly to get to this next area of skills. Otherwise, I don't really see a point. What you could do if you really wanted to and you didn't want the Power Fist augmentation, you could take this skill and substitute it here, especially if you have a class mod that gets like +5 to laser focus. That would be really useful. That would actually put you up to, let me see here, should be 24. Yes, it would be 24% laser damage, and then as far as mag, it's probably going to be about 16 or 14. But that's a possibility that you could do as well. Now, for these final skills, I ultimately went with emergency response because I have a feeling it's going to sync really well with our vengeance cannon as well as termination protocols. Say you get in a really hairy situation and your shields go down and you go into fight for your life after that. What you can do is you're going to have enhanced reload speed, fire rate. Wolf's fire rate is going to improve. You're going to have the ability to constantly shock stuff, and if you die, it is a nuclear explosion. On top of that, you're going to have your vengeance cannon going on at the same time as all of this happens. So if you get in a critical spot, I mean, you're basically going to turn into a weapon of mass destruction. So that's going to be pretty cool. Now, I also went with shock absorbers because the shooting while sprinting is going to be very useful, I'm thinking. And actually, if you could get, let me see here. No, never mind. Basically, this is going to be really useful. You're not going to get any accuracy penalties, and you're just getting bonus gun damage. It's only 20%, but it's really going to add up. I also forgot to mention that I'm going with targeting scope. This is going to improve your critical damage. So if you're using Hyperion weapons or you're using Jacob's weapons, that's going to really help you. And it's not as fire rate dependent is in the final build because we don't go with suppression, which does increase your overall fire rate. Now, I also went to Welcome to the Gun Show. This is basically kind of like Ranger on Axton, but in my opinion, it's way better. Weapon damage, reload speed, mag size. The enhanced accuracy is nice, but not necessarily necessary. But that recoil reduction will help you. So I went with that. And then, of course, we've gone with Vengeance Cannon. What this does is when your shield's depleted, you get an arm-mounted or shoulder-mounted Vengeance Cannon, and this just shoots incendiary laser blasts in tandem with your equipped weapon. So if you had a high fire rate weapon, you've got Vengeance Cannon on, you're doing fire damage, and then maybe you could do like corrosive, or you could do shock, or even ice. It actually may all add up, and those damage over time abilities may stack, and that would be pretty powerful. Plus, it's even higher DPS than normal, and that's always great too. Now, with emergency response and your Vengeance Cannon here, the shield that you have on needs to fully recharge between activations. So you basically, it's not like what's something you could do with Axton is if you're using the sham shield and you had quick charge. This is Borderlands 2 I'm talking about. You could basically kill an enemy, your shield could be depleted, and then it would slowly recharge. Well, the sham shield didn't need to be fully charged for it to absorb bullets. So what you could do is you could basically have like 2 points of shield recharging per second. And then what that would do is, because the sham is always working, as long as it is absorbing bullets, you aren't taking any damage. So that was a fun thing to exploit. It's looking like you're not going to be able to do that here with Wilhelm. Now, between all these skills, Fortify is increasing our gun damage, or our damage output. Targeting Scope is as a kill skill. We have Shock Absorbers, and then we have Welcome to the Gun Show. Really, otherwise, and of course we have some interesting passives like Vengeance Cannon and Emergency Response, which is going to improve our DPS. But we don't really have very many gun damage improvement skills. So this is where Hunter Killer comes in. Now, I've been kind of debating on which 4 of these, I should say, I'm going to max. Ultimately, I've gone with Fire Support and Afterburner. This is going to improve your reload speed, and it's going to improve your projectile speed, which is going to improve your hit scan. Basically what that is if you have a gun that has really slow bullets, it's going to make those move faster, and it'll make it easier for you to hit enemies. A great example of this in Borderlands 2 was like Zero and Velocity. If you were using a B shield and a Sandhawk, the Sandhawk has slow pellets, but it's really powerful. This will speed those pellets up. Plus, and then again, back to Wilhelm here, that reload speed bonus will be nice. I also went with Fire Support, which is going to increase your weapon damage and will improve Wolf's weapon damage as well. Now, something to consider is that you could do Suppression, which is basically going to be like Axton's and Roland's from the first games, Metal Storm. It's looking like here. As far as the bonus goes, it's going to be 6 per level, so you'll get a 30% increase. If I remember correctly, in Borderlands 2, it was much higher than this. So, like, if you had 5 out of 5 in the skill with Axton, it was like more like 40 or 50, maybe even 60% fire rate. With Wilhelm, it's significantly lower, but it does improve Wolf's fire rate, so that's something to consider. But ultimately, I went ahead and decided to go with Afterburner because I want that reload speed and the projectile speed. Something else you could do is there's Venom Bolts, which, depending on how the mechanics of this game work, it's been theorized by guys like Gathalion, I believe and Baru. They both seem to think that corrosive is when you tag somebody with corrosive, then you switch to another weapon, you'll do more damage when you're shooting them with it, because this is how the mechanics in Borderlands 1 worked. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true here, but there is a possibility there is. And really, between these 3 skills here, if that's the case, and corrosive damage over times work kind of like Slag does in Borderlands 2, you're going to want Venom Bolts. But for right now, I'm going with Afterburner. And of course, you're going to want Laser Guided. What this is going to allow you to do, this will allow you to paint a particular target. So basically, when you're aiming down sights or you have a target in your reticule, you basically are going... Wolf is going to paint that target. He's going to focus his attack on it, and you're going to gain additional damage when you deal damage to that particular target. So that skill is going to be very useful, and I highly recommend Laser Guided. Kill Switch is basically when Wolf dies, it's going to dive bomb and blow up. And what that'll probably do is that'll probably kill most regular enemies. I kind of liken this to Scorched Earth from Axton's skill tree in Borderlands 2. I believe that was his... I can't remember the names. These are like Hunter Killer, Cyber Commando, and Dreadnought. but I have a feeling that's going to be very much like Scorched Earth. So I'm going to pick up that. And then really we only have 2 points left. So we have Rolling Thunder, which is going to allow you to get Wolf to do more damage. Honestly, I think that's kind of lame. What is better is Scramble, which is basically when Wolf is destroyed, it's replaced once for free, and you're going to get additional duration on Wolf and Saint. So basically, not only you're going to get beyond 45 seconds of duration for these guys. It's saying here it's 35%. If you do the math, I'm going to say that's around 15 seconds or more for that duration. So that could be going up to almost a minute that those guys can be out, especially if they're killed or if Wolf is killed. So that's going to be pretty cool. But anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up my skill tree here for the ultimate endgame skill tree for Wilhelm the Enforcer in Borderlands pre-sequel. If you did like this video, please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And really, I kind of want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Are you guys thinking about using different skills? Are you forgoing targeting scope or man and machine and going straight into lasers? Are you not going into this tree at all and investing in hazmat containment system, maybe rapid reinforcement? There is a particular skill that I want, which is very similar to Axton's Grit, and that is hard to kill, where you get damage reduction per stack. And of course, if you can get 100 stacks, you're going to get 10% damage reduction from all resources, or all sources, I should say, resources. Anyway, so that'd be up to 10%, provided you have 100 stacks. That would be pretty nice. But anyway, guys, again, pretty much going to wrap up this video. Take care. Have a good one.